kick working? Let's see. Looks like it's working. Right. I think we just have to use, with the laptop anyway, we have to use the lower resolution. Right. All right, let's back. That seems to be working. Okay. It seems to be working. Working. Seems to be working. All right. Looks like we got a lot of good things going on here. What else do I need?
The best time to get a great deal on a Ram truck is now. During the Ram, make
All right. Hi, this is Norm with Impact Employment. I was calling in regards to your interest in work. Okay, are you in the Monroe area? Okay, yeah, problem. So you have transportation? Okay, super. Well, when would you be available to come down to go through the interview / orientation? Okay, I'm kind of working a weird shift right now at the office here in Monroe. It's I can see the earliest I can see is probably 1 p.m. Okay, super. Do you know where the office is? Okay. Well, I'm going to text it back to you anyway, just so I know you have it, and then some instructions on what to bring with you. And other than that, if you have any questions, you can just like you did, shoot me a text. Now, when I text you, can you just text me back your full name so I can switch it from unknown to to you, so I know who I'm texting with. All right, super. Okay, I'll get that over to you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yep, bye. All right. Your name sounds familiar. Nobody's here. Yeah, somebody just jumped in. Welcome, whoever just came in.
Central Dispatch Personnel, Correction 1, Response Priority 3, this one will report you to the court 12042 court across the holiday.
All right.
By bill, email, 58, and like pay.
Hey, Jared. Thanks for popping back in, man. Oh, okay. Well, apparently my strike penalty period is over. Saying my strike is over. Let's see if I can add the edit. See something here. Save changes. See if it adds that in.
Responding to Joseph report from Telegraph. Central Pension Homeowners Money Adjustment Report.
Okay, looks like I'm back up.
Yes, sir, you go ahead and clear myself. Thank you.
Let me off.
Clear.
Let me off a day early.
Central 493 traffic.
For sure it was last Wednesday that this happened. Maybe I'm wrong.
$14.93.75 and a 21 looks like. There'll be an Illinois plate of fall
Let's
1.
finish the stream on both for now.
091 on a white box truck. But clear card, header march. 5831, copy on us, right? Go ahead. So respond over to 1600 Empire Road. It'll be lot 89.
So apparently indoctrination is working as well now. So
Security for PNC.
I'm streaming to both.
In reference to Christopher Clement stating that he was going to blow up a PNC bank.
Ooh, guy just said he's going to blow up a PNC bank. Hey, there's my stream element spot running on indoctrination. Sweet. Looks like we're working. All right, let's get back to work here. All right, let me print out this stuff that just came in.
Dispatch 5843. Sorry, 43. Can you check with MCA and see where limit was? Stand by.
What? Why is there so few hours? It's 100 less hours. All right, let's get you guys some watch. I'm gonna have something going on in the background here. I think
Central 1493 security. Central 5843. The patient was transferred to St. Joseph. Clear. Just double checking that, but And I'll give them a call back.
Anything that we were not expecting. We were waiting for this day to come. In fact, yesterday we were doing the calculations, wondering when is this thing going to drop. We know that Fannie, the biggest Fannie in Georgia, wants to bring her case soon. And so who's going to go first? And lo and behold, we wake up and we get an announcement. We're going to get into this hard today on the show, so I just want to touch on it briefly this morning because I've got another announcement about the new website and the newsletter. I'd love to share that with you as well and poke around and do the usual fare, but we can't miss this. I mean, this is going to be everything. So we're going to have a ton of reaction today. My plan is to hear from really the DOJ, the press briefing from Karine, if there is one. We'll see. A bunch of congressmen are already commenting on this. Marjorie Taylor Greene is commenting on this, and others. So it's going to be a full day of this, and I'm going to spend most of the day just gobbling it together and then assembling it and sort of timelining this thing out. I don't think that we're going to see an indictment this week because they're giving him time to respond to the target letter. So probably first thing Monday, we'll see an indictment. Anyways, we'll assemble it all. But this is the announcement from Trump. He says, wow, on Sunday night, while I was with my family, having just arrived from Turning Point event in Florida, where I won the straw poll against other Republican candidates, 85% of the poll, all polls showing me leading the Republican primary by very substantial numbers, almost everyone predicting I'll be the nominee. I got horrifying news given to me by my attorneys. He says deranged Jack Smith, the prosecutor with Biden's DOJ, sent a letter again on a Sunday night stating I am a target of the January 6th grand jury investigation, giving me a very short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost always means an arrest and an indictment. And I believe they're giving him 4 days to report if he wants to. I don't think he's going to show up and testify. Basically, they notify you that this is pending. And so they say, if you want any evidence to go and contest what we're doing, you have an opportunity, you have a window to appear to do that. But I don't think that he's going to do that. He's just going to not testify because that is his right. So I think basically they're giving him this window. He's not going to do anything, and then his attorneys will advise him to remain silent. Then we'll wake up and he'll be actually indicted. And it's just a formal
Central 5027.
notification so that he has the opportunity, should he want to appear, he could do that, but I do not expect him to do that. So now Joe Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland, who I turned down for the United States Supreme Court, in retrospect, a very wise decision. No kidding. Gosh, thank you for that. Together with Joe Biden's DOJ, have effectively issued a third indictment and arrest of Joe Biden's number one political opponent, who is largely dominating him in the race for the presidency. Nothing like this has ever happened in our country before, or even close. They illegally spied on my campaign, attacked me with a totally fake dossier, and so on. They failed and failed and failed. And so that's not actually the full statement. That one came over from Byron Donalds. Let's see. Here it is. Yeah, 51 intelligence agents and so on. This is a witch hunt, very dark day for our nation. So, yeah, not a surprise. I mean, it's still surprising that this is happening, but not a surprise. We were expecting 4 indictments, and this is 3. I still expect 4. And maybe a superseding indictment, which is kind of like 4.5. Maybe a Bedminster, New Jersey indictment at some point. I don't know. But it's here, and there will be a lot to unpack, especially when we get to the nature of the charges and the release conditions. Once he actually does get indicted, are they going to ask him to be held in custody or gagged or surrender his passport or something like that? And we were playing the clips yesterday of Jocelyn Benson and the other woman on CNN, and them saying, even Jamie Raskin on yesterday's show, saying another coup is going to be coming. This man is going to do it again. And they're going to use that in their arguments, saying he's running for president again. He's going to do it again. Judge, stop him from insurrecting again. So it's going to get hot, man. And if some judge, some DC judge decides to keep him in custody. I mean, or even slightly limit him in some way that feels unjust. It's going to cause a reaction, and maybe that's what they want. Who knows? So, all right, let's see what you guys say about this. Then I want to share with you the update on the newsletter, see if you would like to be the first ones through the gate on that. And then I've got a couple of other stories here about Fauci being referred over for criminal charges for this new email that popped out. Want to run through that quickly. And then we also I got a question about Michelle. Is she running for president? Actually, I think Bonnie tagged me on something related to this. And there's weird stuff going on with Michelle Obama. Like, they have a new Twitter account that they just launched March in 2023, and it's just a couple followers. It looks kind of weird stuff going on. So anyways, a couple of those clips, a couple of those things to attend to, and then share with you the newsletter, website stuff, and we'll poke around and see what the president is up to. But it's a lovely Tuesday, and we know it's Tanya without fail. Thank you, Tanya. It's Taco Tuesday. Yeah, and this is taco fajita pizza, bacon. Where'd that go? Bacon and greens day. Very appropriate, Tanya. Thank you very much. And of course, we all got to have our greens. If we're going to have our tacos, fajitas, pizza, and bacon. And I don't know, is Antics in the house? He'd appreciate the bacon plug. If we miss that, it's, I don't think it counts if we miss it. So thank you very much, Tanya. And every Tuesday, thank you for doing that and reminding us. And I actually have a taco, themed thing coming up. Somebody reached out to me. It's actually sitting in my PO box. I actually have to go pick it up. It's taco themed. So we're gonna. I have a taco theme. We might do a taco giveaway or something like that. A taco. I'm not going to send you tacos, but it's a taco device. We'll do a taco device giveaway. Somebody sent me a free thing. Like, I want to send you this thing. And I said, sure. It's taco related. Send it over. So anyways, thank you very much, Tanya, for it. And I might actually go pick that up today. I owe that guy an email back. All right. So Odessius here also says, how about the Chinese getting all of our iPhone pictures? Is that true? Did that happen? I didn't hear about that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me for a minute. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you've ever used TikTok, certainly, I think they have access to your whole phone at that point. So whatever's on your phone. Just Cause says, not true. I work for Apple. There you go. Well, straight from the source, straight from Apple. Can you put Field of Greens on your tacos? You can put Field of Greens on whatever you want. It's versatile. One of nature's most perfect foods and blends. We've got Timothy Teeters here. Says, good afternoon from beautiful Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Folks, going to be busy here today and tonight. Yeah, it is going to be a jammed day. It's going to be a lot of Trump analysis. Bonnie says, mix it with taco meat. Actually, that's somebody probably could actually incorporate it. Yeah. Hey, driving through Texas to Arizona right now. Awesome. Well, be safe out there. It's hot. Bring some extra water. Another reason not to have an iPhone. Who doesn't like free stuff? Exactly. Political Mom says, it is so upsetting. It is upsetting. How can they do this? He's legally allowed to contest the election. He didn't even make the fight comment until the Capitol thing had already started. They're going to make it bigger than just January 6th. They're going to make it about the alternative slate of electors. It's going to be much bigger than just that one day, which is why I think they might say he's going to do it again and that he needs to be held in custody. Bonnie's talking about Trump or playing hooky. He says, grandiose, got him where he is today. Successful financially, popular with his thoughts and convictions. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what he does with the grand jury. Just Cause says, I think this is their meta. They're going after the competitors they can't beat. Brandon. I think this is just the start, guys. I think you're right about that, Jess. Zulu's thinks it's hilarious, which is one way to go. Voice says the alternative slate of electors is allowed and has been used before. Certainly, we're not. We really can't argue the law in a justice system, in this current justice system, because the law would be followed in a legitimate justice system, and this is not a legitimate justice system. So it's like, yeah, they don't really care. They're just doing what they want. They're not operating on the pretext of the law. They're operating on just raw power at this point. So we got four different indictments coming.
Really? Okay, we got some stuff to watch.
And a lot of it is for very similar conduct, saying, hey, we challenged the election. A bunch of stuff that Democrats have done. Jamie Raskin challenged it. Ranger Southie says, how many state Supreme Courts ruled the rules of 2020 election broke the law and state constitution? I don't know. The answer on that, I don't know. There was a lot of, so that's a complicated question. So there were hundreds of lawsuits, and there were different challenges for different reasons. But there were you have to pair the findings with the consequences and whether it's enough to do anything about it. And remember, we had a ton of cases dismissed on standing and other bases. So if you're asking, did a state Supreme Court find that an election was invalid? I think the answer to that is like zero. Did any state Supreme Court reverse the election? None.
Hello.
But but I'm not sure that's exactly what you're asking. There's like shades of gray about all of this. Latches, yeah. Kate Bean says, and
it won't let you do that. No, just actually, just to be safe, just create.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different justifications for it, but there's
yeah. Well, no,
different ways to slice it.
I'm sorry. Let's just to keep it consistent. That way, I want to make sure that we do turn it off.
All right, so let's poke around.
Get it set up, but yeah, do legends.
Yeah, let's poke around and see what else is going on. So we've got. So I mean, we know this is going to be the big story of the day. So we also have the president. What is he doing? Okay, Karine is going to be talking, which is good. That means she's going to get a bunch of questions on this.
So it should ask you for a code.
So she's just going to push all of that. I defer to the DOJ. Going to get a ton of that. And I'm not sure that the media is going to be allowing that so much. I'm sure this is the main headline all across the world right now. Let's see what CNN says.
474.
There it is. Trump says he is a probe target, which almost always means an arrest, obviously. I mean, this is the big one. Like they've been pumping their base up about this for years now.
Restore from desktop.
Yeah. Wanted to see if there was anything about
Can I do that?
whether he's going to go to the grand jury proceeding or not. So it's all it's all breaking.
Yeah, saying welcome.
I'm sure there'll be more leaks. Let's see if the Washington.
Oh no!
Leaks.
Do it as new.
A few more options.
Ooh, we're going to have some reaction on this.
Yep.
DeSantis says Trump should have come out more forcefully.
And then once it's done, it'll try and
on
pull
January
some updates.
6th.
Once you look
That's
at a regular
interesting.
window screen, let me see a regular window screen.
We'll dig that clip out.
Okay. It wants me to create a pin. Do you have one in particular?
But he
I
thought
used the
Trump
zip
did not
code
act
there.
with criminal intent
Oh yeah, I remember.
on the day of the insurrection. Well, that's curious. What about on days outside of the insurrection? He should have come out more forcefully, but to criminalize it is a different issue. Wow.
Okay.
So we're going to see some wedge issues
Tailored experiences.
poking up.
Do you accept?
Bonnie
just-
says she
yeah,
posted up
yeah,
a New York
I
Times
just skip
story
all
over
the
on the forum.
crap that they're going to offer you a version of Outlook and everything in Office.
Let's see.
Sure. Just skip all past it. Got it.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can grab it. Bonnie posted this one. New York Times. Trump says he's a target in special counsel's case. Letter was the second one that he received. Trump was previously charged Florida 37.
Free trial of Microsoft 365.
Decline.
Here's what we know. Trump disclosed the existence of the letter on Tuesday. Target letter is the official piece of correspondence. Smith was appointed to investigate him. 2 grand juries have been moving forward. His son, Jared Kushner, testified. Giuliani also testified. Prosecutors asking witnesses about former president's state of mind, efforts to fundraise, and other things. And the fake electors. It's going to be an interesting day. A lot of the primary people are going to capitalize on this. This is the big one, you know, the insurrectionist one. So we'll see how they play it. Should be fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, I set you on the charger and I
Let's
bumped
see.
it.
That's okay. It's doing that.
Playing hooky says DeSantis is a Karl Rove rhino.
Right.
Woodchip says Trump tore them up in his TPAC speech.
Crack into the screen.
Yeah, we'll see what they all say.
Yep.
Grifty's getting a tooth pulled. Oh no. All right. Well, hopefully it's quick and easy. As painless as you can make those things. Can't wait to never vote for anyone who tries to capitalize on this. Yeah, it's just,
Okay, main screen. Here we are.
Okay.
it's amazing
Now on the bottom,
how many chances the Justice
right, you
Department
should
gets.
see the little
It's
cloud
like, well,
there.
they're corrupt
the
here,
OneDrive
they're
cloud.
corrupt here, they're corrupt here, they're corrupt here, they're corrupt here. But then the candidates come out, well, you know,
Little icon there.
maybe this time. All right, so let's hit what else is out there. Committee schedule
Yeah, right
from
click on it.
Congress. What are they up to today? It's Tuesday,
You should
so
see
they're back in
settings.
session. We've
Click on
got
that.
armed services. Tomorrow's the big day,
Click
and
on
honestly, I
account.
thought this timing was nice.
Unlink,
Like, I'm
unlink
glad
this
Trump
PC.
announced it today and not tomorrow.
Disappeared on.
I would have been very irritated if he announced it tomorrow,
Okay, right click. Here we go.
because tomorrow is the whistleblower hearing on the Biden crime family. So we'll let the news, you know, burn through this today,
Okay, unlink account. Yeah.
and then hopefully
Now,
it's
you
whistleblower
might as well
stuff
do it
tomorrow.
while you're in it already. Click
But
add
it's
account.
not, you know, it's a little too close for comfort. Like Trump, I wish he would have told us on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that we
well,
can
you want to have her log
put-
back
burn
into
through
the
that
OneDrive
cycle a little
with her
bit.
email.
Before the whistleblower drops, because the whistleblower is going to drop tomorrow, and all the
Okay.
news is going to talk about is the Trump indictment, and they'll
Yep.
have a bunch of leaks about that tomorrow to cover over that. House Oversight and Accountability hearing, canceling home appliances. You know, it's like, oh my, we're fighting over stoves. Can you just let us live our lives, please, for the love of God? All right, so we've got House Energy and Commerce, House Intelligence Select meeting. This is closed, talking about China. We've got Education, Foreign Affairs,
Good.
Oversight on some DOD stuff. Congress is busy today. Financial Services, Homeland Security about the border,
I'm sorry.
Oversight about DACA. Yeah, busy day. All right, so that's in Congress. On C-SPAN, what are they covering? All right, we've got McCarthy. We'll get some clips from him. Lloyd Austin talked about Ukraine. Bank regulators talking about climate-related financial risks. Republican leaders are questioning the timing of Trump. Okay, we'll save that one. And then the Democrats are talking about it. So the House is in session right now. They're busy today. Austin and Milley, another news conference on Ukraine taking place in just a few minutes. State Department has a daily briefing. White House has the daily briefing about an hour from now. And I'll be looking forward to seeing what Karine says about all this. So, yeah, the news is going to mature quickly, no doubt.
Okay. So
And
sign in, and it's saying, hold
hey,
on,
yeah, the
that's
UFO stuff.
with your company.
Yep.
Griff, try to refresh your phone.
So you
Might be the internet
just,
connection.
if it lets you, just minimize that now and just open
Yeah,
up a
all the
browser.
UFO stuff. Very curious how that has come out of nowhere, it seems. Chuck Schumer's like, oh, yeah, I'm interested in
Well,
releasing
she's got to
UFO
log back
material
in
now.
once we get in the browser, but
Okay, well then never mind. Hold on. I'm in the browser.
Where's JC says,
All
the
right,
only two presidents I ever supported,
the
Ron
easiest
Paul
is
and
just
Trump.
live.com.
Never got the chance to vote for Ron. First ever vote was for Trump.
Yeah, just
Good candidates.
Whatever.
Yeah, Mr. Null says whistleblowers probably be jailed this evening.
Live.com.
Who's KJP singling out today? Well,
All right,
she's
then
probably
sign
just going to
in.
defer to the DOJ a lot. Well, they're doing their investigation. I defer you to the special counsel's office. There's nothing to say on that.
Why is it not pulling up?
Yeah, the UFO stuff has been interesting. Feels like a hard pivot. There were clips on from John Kirby on that too yesterday. He's like, no, they're interfering with us now. We're like, what? What are you talking about all this UFO stuff for?
Yeah, it's not
Just more distractions.
it's on the screen here.
Okay.
It's blank. So
PSYOP
Well,
stuff.
it's probably trying to pull updates and everything all at once. Right
Woodchip
now,
says
too, though.
Obama
The
cured me
biggest
on
thing was to
Democrats.
make sure that we
I think
disconnected.
that happened for a lot of people. They thought he was Mr. Hope and
Let it
Change,
do its thing, run some updates, but I'm
but
just
that
talking
didn't work
about
out so well.
to put Office back on there.
So, hey, okay, so I forgot to mention this. All right, the new website, my friends, is up and available. And so I want to invite you to check it out. So let's turn this off here. This is the new website. That's your boy. And if you go to robertgovea.com, this is where you'll find it. And so you can now access the entire mind map on your
I'm tired today too.
your computers. So exactly what I go through on the show, you can access it. So if you go to robertgovea.com, this is brand new. This is fresh out of the gate. So we just launched it last night. And so this is the new website. And you can see here, if you click here, you can just enter your email, your first name and your email, and then you can get this in your inbox every day. And what comes in your inbox is a summary of the live stream and the 3 different segments from the show. And it will also have a link to the mind map. And when you sign up and you get the email in your inbox, it also has a mind map tutorial. So when you get it, you'll click this, it'll take you to this link. And in this link, you can access the mind map right here. So you can actually just go over to, open up the email in your inbox. It's going to take you to this page. This page, this will always be the mind map email. The mind map link. So you can get access to the link. And then this is a tutorial. This is a 7-minute tutorial on how to actually use the mind map, right? So it'll walk you through how to scroll around and how to zoom in and out. And then if you're not a member of Locals, it will invite you over to Locals. So you can join up on Locals. But of course, you guys are members already, so you don't need that. But you still can access the mind map. So if you go over here, and I love your feedback on all of this, by the way. Like, I love your feedback on this. We just launched this, just talking with the crew today. And so you can get access to all of it. And the links change, which is why. So this is a daily email, by the way. And you're going to get the summary. And so what's cool about what we've done is we also now take each video segment and we turn them into a report. All right. So for example, you can go here, you can click reports on the website, and you can click one of these reports, right? Pick which one we just did. So like, let's say, for example, you don't want to watch the full video. You just want to scroll through and just get a summary. Hunter sends Trump a cease and desist. All right, so this is the website now. Just a little bit of an intro. We're using Rumble as the back end. And then there's an actual written report. So it summarizes the actual video. So in this report, Hunter Biden displayed a lot of bravado lately with his father running the DOJ. It's basically a summary of the video. right? It's in my words. It's just taking what we said, summarizing it so you can just read through it, talk about Trump's posting, reaction to the letter, the bigger picture, and then you can just, browse around. So I'm not going to really watch that video. What's in this video? Okay. Oh, Kushner talked to the grand jury. Trump's guilty mind, insight into Trump's strategies. Okay. And so maybe, oh, look, Georgia's Fani Willis is here too. So maybe you want to hear about Fani Willis in this video. And so you can watch this video. Special counsel Jack Smith, and it'll just plug up the video. And so these will be summarized and also sent over to you, right, in an email, and you can just click and come back to the website. And so we'll have various reports that you can get. There's a bunch of other links here if you want to watch the show or listen to the show, audio podcast. We're going to be plugging locals hard, trying to get a lot of people into locals and joining up as a member. And so then this is where the store will land. And this is where, like the merch will land and some other stuff that we're working on. So you can also find us anywhere else on the internet and contact us. Like once we get a, merch and stuff going out, like if you have an order problem, then we've got some help sections, an FAQ section with, how all this stuff works, exchanges, and we're building it out in real time. But if you have any thoughts or any feedback, or if you sign up for this and you get the emails and you have any questions or concerns or any thoughts are. And so the website, once again, is just robertgovea.com, just robertgovea.com, just my name. And so all the reports are there. And if you sign up, you'll get a daily email with a summary. And the newsletter is going to be super important to making sure we stay plugged in and, together, because I do get nervous about the election, about the censorship that we might see on YouTube and the other platforms. And this is a custom-made gavel from our friend George. And that's the gavel that's right there.
Yeah,
George made that a long time ago. Very
so
beautiful gavel.
So is inDOCtriNATION and DocNation. I'm streaming.
So you kind of look like a plumber holding that gavel.
Facebook.
Well, I used to do a lot of plumbing, so that's okay.
Twitch.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of
Twitter,
plumbing. You give me some
Kick,
PVC
and
pipe
Rumble
and some glue,
all at once.
Man. I actually built a trebuchet out of PVC pipe. That's how much plumbing I did in physics high school class. I built a They're like, hey, you have to build a trebuchet. I'm like, I'm going to use PVC. Why? Because I know PVC inside and out. Mama says it's all PEX now. Is it? They're not using PVC anymore? Well, guess that's it for me. I guess I'm antiquated. But yes, so my friend, so I'd love it if you checked it out and signed up and let me know what your thoughts are. And, hopefully it works and you get some value out of it. And, your feedback is going to be important in making sure that we deliver value on this thing. So if you see anything that feels off or you've got suggestions, I'd really love it. And there are a couple of you who I want to actually reach out to and, ask you for your professional thoughts on it. So certainly let me know. And we're going to be building out other stuff. We're going to be able to host other content and build out, books, documentaries, other info, courses, whatever we want to do with it can be here. So yeah. And thank you to George for the beautiful gavel. It's a beautiful gavel. And we're working on it. So thank you, my friends. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. These are all the different reports and there's different stories for each one of them. You can read through them and get a summary, share them away with friends. And we're trying to build out a robust chronicle of the things that we're covering here. And then start tagging these things and building a repository of the work in a way that we can't do on the other platforms. So be sure to check that out. Wood and flex seal and black pipe. There it is. Hey, thank you, Ray K. Yeah, we put a lot of work into that thing. And it's all coming together. And so, yeah, I'll drop that in there. And then we'll drop that in the comments over here for our future friends. And then we're going to keep populating it and should be fun. Mama Rock says, so we replaced it all with PEX. Flex Seal works awesomely. Man, so there's new technology. Yeah, I used to do black pipe too. I used to do gas pipe too, natural gas. I did natural gas. I used to do trenching. I had a trencher, would trench, you know, the yellow natural gas pipe, and then I'd mash those together. Yeah, new website, robertgovea.com. Going to be the new homepage. We're transitioning everything over there. Flex to copper. Yeah, and flex was like a new technology when I left construction, went right to law school. And I started, and then like a couple of years later, people were like, you know, this blue flex pipe. And I'm like, what is this crap? I used to have to, like, you ever have a pipe? So like my plumbing was pool related. So I used to, you know, build swimming pools. And it would be, landscapers would come in and then they would hit with a pick, you know, your 2-inch return line. And return lines weren't 2 inches, you know, return lines would be about 1.5 inches. But, you know, let's say, you know, it's a bigger pipe. And so they'd hit that and it would be a big pain in the butt to have to fix it because, you know, you have to like cut out the pipe and then sort of, you know, bring it up and then snap it back together, or you'd have to get one of the expensive like fitting, you know, things you put in there and fit it all in, and then all this, or you have to go up with a 90. It was a big pain in the butt. And then suddenly, like all this new technology came out. People are just like screwing 2 pieces together and, you know, doing curly cues with all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell happened here? How are they fixing all this stuff? Hex. Yeah. Yeah, the tubes, man. We got to make sure the tubes are cleaned out. That's why I get so irritated when the feds are in our tubes.
So I think I'm going to continue doing the drives.
Golly.
On
what is this crap? Says, all right. So so I had a couple stories, my friends, that I thought were good stories. Of course, we are going to come back. We're going to hit Trump.
Yeah, I'll continue
the Trump
doing both
saga
if I can, but
very
on
hard
mobile,
today
Prism
on the
will only
show.
let you pick one.
And we'll do a bunch of investigations into what exactly is going on. But there were a couple of other interesting stories. This one is Fauci related. And I thought this was a curious one from our friend Rand Paul. And so let's see what is going on this one. Rand Paul gets another criminal referral. No. Anthony Fauci gets another criminal referral from Rand Paul. This one for lying to the American people. Not a big surprise here. What is a surprise is this new email that came out. This was previously redacted. Now it has been unredacted, and it is quite revealing. It says that Anthony Fauci and some of his so-called scientists kind of knew more than they were letting on about the origin of the COVID virus. Maybe it did come from a lab. That's what the email says. This is reaction from Rand Paul and Tim Burchett, a congressman, saying, you know, now it's time to pop Anthony Fauci with a felony, legally and lawfully and peacefully with a felony for his lying. And so Rand Paul communicated this referral over on Twitter. He said, all right, here we go. I referred Anthony Fauci to the DOJ again for lying to Congress when he denied the National Institutes of Health was funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan. Brought him into Congress. He lied to Congress. Now there should be repercussions for that. We know they're prosecuting their political enemies in the form of Donald Trump and others, but they're not prosecuting people who are doing their bidding. Here, this story came from the Daily Mail, says Anthony Fauci is accused of perjury. Former White House doctor lied under oath about the funding of gain-of-function research in China. Might have started the pandemic, according to Rand Paul. Daily Mail reveals now that Senator Rand Paul wrote to Attorney General Merrick Garland last week calling for an investigation into whether Fauci, who's 82 now, committed perjury when he testified in front of the Senate in 2021. Fauci was the former director of the NIAID, but newly released emails show that Fauci acknowledged that scientists in Wuhan are, quote, known to have been working on gain-of-function experiments to determine that molecular mechanisms may be associated or adapting to human infection. Let's take a look at what the email says. You can see this was sent on February 1st, 2020 from Anthony Fauci to Garrett Grigsby and others. Others' names and emails redacted, addresses redacted. The subject is follow-up, and Francis Collins also made it on this email. Sent by
Okay.
Fauci. You can see
I'm gonna play
best
those videos
regards
when this
from
is
Tony.
done. I've got them
He
already
says,
set up.
okay, everybody. Folks,
You've probably
the
already watched
call
them.
with Jeremy Farrar from Wellcome Trust went very well. Francis Collins joined, and there were several highly credible scientists, including in addition to the two that I spoke with last night, on the call with expertise in evolutionary biology. One point to make clear, and this was brought up on a task force call, most of the rumors that are going around relate to the paper by an Indian group saying that there are HIV gene sequences inserted into the virus. Now, all of the scientists on our call felt that this was not credible, and they dismissed it as the two did last night. So just to be clear, this was a rumor and a theory, and so they dismissed that there were some insertion of anything strange into the virus. And so this is not medical advice or medical information. This was a theory that was being discussed, and it has been dismissed. This is not what they were concerned about, says Fauci. They were concerned about the fact that upon viewing the sequences of several isolates in the nCoV virus, there were mutations in the virus that would be most unusual to have evolved naturally in the bats. Mutations most unusual to have evolved naturally. And that there was a suspicion that this mutation was intentionally inserted. The suspicion was heightened by the fact that scientists in Wuhan University are known to have been working on gain-of-function experiments, this is Fauci writing, to determine the molecular mechanisms associated with bat viruses adapting to human infection, and the outbreak originated in Wuhan. Well, that's interesting. Sounds like Fauci knows that there actually was gain-of-function experiments happening, and he had a lot of words with Rand Paul over what that meant. Well, that doesn't mean what you think it means, and respectfully, Senator, you don't know what you're talking about with his little head bob. And so this was all redacted, and they suppressed the idea that this came from a lab, but you can see here, he's openly talking about the idea that this might have come from a lab. He says, upon considerable discussion, some of the scientists felt more strongly about this possibility, but the others felt differently. They felt it was entirely conceivable that this could have evolved naturally, even though these mutations have never been seen in a bat virus before. It could be, but we've never seen it before. Yeah, but it could. I guess that's true. The reasons for each side of the argument are too complicated to bother you with. It's science-y stuff. Just trust me. Bottom line is that they all agreed with my strong suggestion to gather an even larger group under the auspices of an internationally credible organization. Even larger group, so that we can expand this out into more bureaucracy and more cover and defray any accountability and responsibility for it. After some discussion, they all felt that the World Health Organization would be the most appropriate convener of such a group, and that the scientific experts be broadly representative of the global scientific community so that they can stop this from evolving. Jeremy Farrar and Francis Collins will contact Tedros and ask him to do this. They hope to initiate this in the next day or so. They pass no judgment at all at this point, and they feel that the group's mandate should be, quote, what are the evolutionary origins of CoV, important for future risk assessments and understanding this. In this way, there is no assumption of foul play or guilt on anyone's part, especially mine, okay? There is no assumption of foul play, especially on my part. We're clear. And merely an intense scientific look at the evolutionary origins of the virus. Where that leads remain to be seen. Happy to chat with any of you about this. Best regards. So that whole thing was basically redacted, and it has now been unredacted. They're saying that perjury is a federal offense, carries up to 5 years in prison. The emails show that Fauci was aware of gain of function going on in the lab. He never admitted, though, that they funded it. But the GAO determined last month that they did receive NIH funding there at Wuhan, and Senator Rand Paul sent the letter over to Garland saying, you've got to charge this guy. He is directly lying to us. At the hearing in July, Fauci stated that the NIH has never and does not now fund gain-of-function research. But yet gain-of-function research was done entirely at Wuhan and was funded by NIH. Rand Paul has cited multiple documents about it. And so we've covered that here at length as we've been trying to make sure these people be held accountable. This is another House representative named Tim Burchett. He says there's enough evidence here for Fauci that he needs to be charged with a felony.
Seconds. What do you want to do about Fauci?
He needs to go. We need to, if he, in fact, he did lie, he needs to be brought up on those charges. And we need to find out why American taxpayers are paying to create a disease that according to some Democrats, almost wiped out civilization. You know, and why are we still paying this guy $400,000+? We need to pop him good and hang a felony on him is what we need to do. People lost their lives because of this nonsense, and they are playing God. They took a virus and they altered it. He claimed they didn't. My friend Rand Paul busted him.
Yeah.
Busted. So he does need to be popped with a felony peacefully, and just like they're popping other people with felonies like Trump. So why don't they pop Anthony Fauci with a felony and charge him for lying to Congress amongst his other crimes? But did you hear Tim Burchett say something interesting there? That they're still paying Anthony Fauci? We thought he retired some time ago. Kind of, but not really. He still has a government taxpayer-funded limo and security service.
Around-the-clock security provided by the U.S. Marshals. That means they station someone outside his house, the limousines, take him wherever he needs to go to the airport. Why, if he's not in government anymore, would he get this?
So we've been hearing these rumors. He announced his retirement, and then somebody said, oh, well, he still comes into the office periodically, and he still has his security detail. And we're like, how come? He's no longer working. So we asked HHS early in the summer, we said, is he still working? And does he have his limo? And does he have a driver? And does he have a security detail? Well, HHS actually came back to us and said they haven't been paying for it since January. But then we discovered that Fox did a Freedom of Information Act, and a judge forced them to say that, well, while HHS wasn't directly funding it, the U.S. Marshals were funding it. So can you imagine, we asked the government, are you funding his limo and his driver and his security detail? And they say, oh, we're not doing it. Oh, but somebody else is doing it, and then we're reimbursing them. So it's a terrible example of the government lying to its representatives and to the people. But also, why is a retired guy? The only retired official I know of that gets this kind of treatment is a former president. So I have no idea why this bureaucrat still has a limo driver, security detail, and we want to know, does he still get legal representation? Because I think he may need that eventually, but he's a rich man. His wealth increased by 30% during the pandemic. I think he ought to pay for his own security detail and his own legal defense.
And former presidents are also getting indicted now. So if he's also getting continuing care, he might also get an indictment, just like Trump. So very curious thing that's happening. We'll see if these people are held accountable for their direct lies to us. I mean, he can tell us where it came from, right? If he's being open and honest, unless he's got some reason to hide it from us, which might be because he was involved in it. And now they're all trying to cover it up. And Rand Paul has been on this from the very beginning. Hopefully there is accountability for these people who did what they did to us so that it doesn't happen again. Gosh. All right. So, right, look at that email. It just makes my blood boil. All right, and we've got another story, my friends. Is Michelle Obama running for president? Oh, gosh. Some people are hinting that she might be doing something like that or setting up shop in order to make a launch. she's got an interesting secret Twitter account with her husband that is raising some eyebrows. We're wondering what this is all about. If you click over here, it is a protected account. And so if you want to follow it, they've got to approve you. And this is the Office of Barack and Michelle Obama. And they launched this thing relatively recently, March 2023. What is it? And there's only 2 followers, and there's 2 people that they are following. And we're going, oh, great.
Welcome,
is she
NC
gearing
Debs.
up for something? Oh, man, we hope not. But we also know that Obama's getting a little bit.
We do a lot of
active,
different
a little bit
reviews of
more
streams
prolific
here while
than
I'm at
usual.
work.
Here
Sometimes
he is also on
it
Twitter
becomes a little bit
talking
unattended
about the
because I get caught
librarians
up in
out
some
there
stuff here,
and
but
about why those books
working on
need
payroll
to
while
be
we're
in
listening to
there
Robert.
in front of kids all across this country. He says that people who want to have oversight over what strangers are shoving in front of their children are wrecking the country. Librarians are saving humanity. Keep doing what you're doing. You're vital to this country. With gratitude, B.O. So that is what he's saying now. Going, oh, great. What are these people doing? Are they gearing up for something? We know that there are questions about Joe Biden having the capability, the mental capacity to even run. They're getting a lot of money into their bank accounts, but they're not really using much of it. This is according to Simone Ateba, the man who has been racistly attacked by Karine Jean-Pierre, not calling on him, even though he's a great reporter. He reported the following. He says, the numbers are in. How does he intend to win? Biden is spending virtually no money for his reelection. In the second quarter of this year, according to fresh data, his campaign had only 4 people on the payroll, spent less than $1,500 on travel, accommodations, and airfare. In all,
Where's that
Biden
money
campaign
going?
spent
Lots of
$1.1
donations.
million in the second quarter. His former boss, Obama, spent more than $11 million in the second quarter of 2011 when he was running for re-election, and he barely won re-election. So the question is, how does Biden intend to win? Does he even intend to run? Curious question being asked by Simone. Now, when you go over to the public markets, we don't really see Michelle Obama on there at all. Predictic is where people will go to make public bets and wager in the markets. And here you can see Joe Biden for the Democratic presidential nomination is
Yeah,
still
for now,
up and
this
away the
is literally my
favorite.
first day
But
back on.
Gavin Newsom is the person who
suspension,
is in
so-
number 2.
Hey,
This is somebody we've been
want me to
concerned
walk
about
you
for a
through
long time.
rebooting the
Had many
router?
conversations about
No, I can't right now.
people maybe buying
Oh,
the
yeah.
California
I can
dreaming
do it later,
mentality
but I
because
can't
they've
do it
never
right
actually
now. I'm in
been
the
to
middle of
California and don't
doing
realize what
stuff
a
on my
dump it is.
computer and in the
But
middle of this
thinking that
room and everything.
maybe
Okay, when you're
they
done.
can create a Silicon Valley for America or create justice or something new and flashy on the beach, and that people might buy that and buy the shtick, which is why he might be
Well, that's good.
a compelling
I appreciate
candidate for people who just love people to tell them, fancy stories. They like that. And that it feels so good. I feel good now. Wow. And then that's basically all you need for him. So he's up there at the top. And then we've got Robert Kennedy in 3rd place, and then Kamala Harris down there in 4th. So, we're wondering what the switcheroo looks like. I mean,
This
if
is
Joe
actually
Biden
my backup channel
has
that
to
you're watching
go,
on.
if
My-
there's
my
some sort of
main is,
competency problem or criminal problem or a resigning problem, does Kamala also go? And you'll notice that Michelle is not even on this list. So we see
Hey,
people are
Oklahoma.
not thinking that it could be her as it stands, which is curious. Might be a good bet if she makes it on.
Yeah, I've
to
been
the
on a
board.
backup channel. I'm
So
actually streaming
we'll
to both
see
right
where
now,
this
'cause
goes,
I
but
didn't
Gavin
discover
Newsom is
until-
currently still in number 2, even
Yeah.
ahead of Robert Kennedy. Hillary Clinton.
I didn't discover that they had lifted it a day early. Once I was online already, and I was opening up my studio, and I was like, "Hey, you're good to go." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Clinton's on the board, which is a scary thought. But Newsom.
I got a strike for apparently saying something was live when it wasn't, even though most of my streams are reviewing old live streams. So I don't know. But one thing I do know is that no human even reviewed. I don't know if it was a human that found the strike, but it was definitely not a human that reviewed my appeal, because I filled out the maximum amount of characters that they would allow on my appeal, and they literally denied my appeal within 30 seconds of submitting it. So there's no way somebody actually read my appeal.
does appear to be waiting. You can see he is making trips
Got
to
cheating
the
cards.
White House. Feels like he's gearing up for this thing. A couple things that he's done recently as he's gearing up. He
Did you play last night? That was a weird experience. You see what PokerStars has done now? They're allowing you to turn your camera and you can talk through the game now. So you can table talk and everything now. Actually look at people's faces if they're willing to turn their camera on.
has made proposals for a constitutional amendment to ban guns. He went on a national media blitz, had a sit down with Sean Hannity, and actually embarrassed Sean Hannity a little bit.
Yeah, check out my main channel.
Newsom openly sparred with Ron DeSantis, threatening to file charges against him for what's going on with the border and the migrant transports. He's also setting up his own political action committee, Campaign for Democracy. And I've seen many of his ads now on Twitter.
Thank you, I'm a
So he's trying to build up a Twitter following by advertising these campaign promises in order to beef up his Twitter
Yeah, I was
profile.
pretty tired.
So feels like
Multiple
a lot
tables,
of people are waiting in the wings, waiting
cool.
for
It was
something
a
to
cool
happen
experience.
on both sides of this. We know Trump is on the GOP side, the far and away winner, the front runner. And there are competitors in the GOP primary
tell
who
which-
will be
which
very
one.
happy
I
if
actually
a
have to
criminal
look at
indictment
another
took
device
him
to see.
off the field.
Just thanks. Hey, thanks. I appreciate
Many
it.
people also doing the same thing
Only
on the
about
Democratic
45
side.
people away
Joe
from
Biden going to fall down another
monetization,
set of
so.
stairs? Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But if
I
he
don't
does,
think, I don't think it's going to
maybe
let me
Michelle
monetize
Obama
with the strike.
or Gavin Newsom
So I
are
probably
going to be
can't
waiting in the
monetize
wings
till
to
October.
capitalize on it. And we'll continue to cover.
This is what it is.
All right, my friends.
Switcher dispatch on.
If Newsom runs, Griff says, RFK runs as an independent, Trump wins for the third time. That's a real interesting comment. So
Thank
there
you.
was, there's also some rumors that like Manchin is thinking about that. Manchin, and there's another third party. Okay, so there could be a spoiler in this thing that just makes Trump the easy pick. But can you imagine the pressure on RFK to not do that? Yeah, GDL says these crooks are conspiring right now under our noses. Covert campaign money to personnel if he decides not to run. Convert campaign money. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. What do you do with all that money? Or you just you give it over to the DNC or whatever. But Biden brought in a big haul, brought in like 70 million.
Let me check out your page and see.
Didn't I don't know. Yeah, Michelle, Michael, confusing. What's up, Bruce? Good to see you, Bruce. Lenny Malley's in the house. Michael Allen Hughes is here. Thank you, Lenny. Saying hit that like button. Susie Moon says, I'm sorry, I'm not impressed with Newsom. He looks way too slick. I know, but people like that. I mean, they liked Obama, you know. Nobody wants to live in Obama's Chicago or Newsom's San Francisco. But they're still, flashy new faces on the scene, and people just, yeah. Maybe Obama was a different caliber, but used car salesman, slick. He looks plastic, says Christina. Yeah, totally agree with those. Yeah, white, clean, articulate. That was a Joe Biden quote. Yeah, look, he's like this nice, clean, articulate guy. Robert Barnes says, no way for Michael Obama. Why not talk about Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan? Dark horse, methinks.
I got your back, NC Dibs.
She could be. She likes to apparently work with the FBI. Oh, I missed a super chat? Oh, thank you, K-Bean. Let's see. Where'd that go? Did I miss something? There it is. Hey, thank you, Voice. Hey, he says, well done. I'm impressed with the hard work you're putting into this YouTube thing. Thanks, Voice. Yeah, we're just getting started, man. We're just getting started. So I have a whole whiteboard upstairs that I was really digging into. What was it? Sunday night. I've got whiteboards two sides of a full whiteboard. We're about to go, baby. We got to increase the power level. We want to build infrastructure. We want to leave a mark on this election, on this next election. We want to be a player, and wake people up and get people excited and get people activated and informed and energized and participating. And we got to have infrastructure to do that. We got to be anti-fragile and, you know, not cancelable and all of that stuff. So we got to build the infrastructure to do it. But thank you, voice. Spuds is here. Hey, got the tubes working. Okay, cool. Jigam, how can we? And I thank you, Jigam, for that. So, Jigam, I wanted your feedback in particular on the website and any other things that you think about. You know, so I'm. You are helping, I guess. Let me just say, like, you are helping. You know, by just doing what you're doing, and
Cool.
you know, it's kind of like a community build. You know, I get your feedback. I tried to do the old website myself solo, and I learned a bunch of stuff.
I make everybody who seems
here
legit
helping me with it. And
a
website's
moderator, standard
robertgovea.com.
moderator, just so you're able to drop
So
links.
yeah, I'd love your thoughts. I'd love your feedback. I mean, once we get the merch
check other
going
people's
and
channels.
we get a good
Usually I wait
provider,
a little bit,
so I ordered a whole new set of stuff that's on its way. Should be here next
like
week.
Lemmings from earlier. Whatever his name was, Luke.
We can you know, we can spin up some fun stuff. I've got some fun ideas, and then yeah, it's gonna be it should be pretty cool. But yeah, sign up and let me know what you think on that. If you haven't signed up yet, at robertgovea.com. And you know, it's a daily email, but feel free to unsubscribe if it's too much for you. But I love it. I love your feedback on it. Thank you, Jigam. Okay, so I've got to jet, my friends. Michael Allen is correct. You can't say whiteboard. You have to say
Marker board.
person board now. Person board, I think, or something. I don't know. All right, so my friends, it's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. The Rubos are going to a barbecue. Woo! All right, take some good pictures. Have some fun, my friends. We'll be back here in a few hours. We're going to get into a lot of Trump stuff. So we'll see you back then. Until then, everybody, make it a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, let's see. Let's check this one out first.
A lot of people are talking about this video, but I feel like they're all missing a really important part of this story. In the video, the police officers are accused of using excessive force while trespassing a man from a Target. And one of the police officers is even facing criminal charges for the incident now. But everyone's talking about what the police did wrong. And yes, they were wrong. But what about all the store employees and the customers? There was the store employees that called the police on this man to have him trespass because he was taking too long to check out. On the body cam, we can clearly see that this man has some mental deficiencies, but instead of a store employee or even a customer realizing that he's having problems and choosing to help him, everybody decides to call the police and let the police beat the shit out of him. On August 19th, 2022, Albuquerque police receive a call from the Target on Coors in Albuquerque, New Mexico, wanting a man removed from the store because he's taking too long to check out. Police arrive to trespass him, and this is what happens.
Hi, sir. After please. Go ahead and grab all your money. Let's walk out, okay? Go ahead, stop. Stop. You're done. After you, please. Change it, not for you leave. Put your money down. You're coming with us, okay? Just put your money down, okay? You're coming with us, okay?
I had it
We're gonna
in
identify
there
you.
tied up.
Gotcha.
It took me a while.
Take your money out. You're coming with us now, okay?
It just took me a little while.
Gotcha. You took too long. Go ahead and take your money out.
Yeah, I'm
Take your money
sorry.
out. You're coming. Do you want to walk us to walk you out, or you want to walk yourself out?
But I had it.
Go ahead and put your money out, man.
I do this.
I'm gonna let this bike, okay?
I don't look at it. I got all the money out now. I just was getting
So go
my
ahead and
money
grab your
out.
money, sir. We're walking out, okay?
Can I please just take
So we're
all
gonna
the
grab the
money?
money for you, okay?
Can I please? I got all the
We're
money.
leaving, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to be identified, okay? And you're going to be issued a criminal trespass that says you can't come back to this business anymore, okay?
I was just getting my money out because I don't want to lose it.
This is horrible.
I keep it covered.
Let's walk out, okay? Go up the door. That's okay. You'll hang out, okay?
The Albuquerque police physically remove the man from the store, make fun of him, rough him up, and then arrest him. Now, it looks to me like all of this was completely
Come
unnecessary.
out on Third Street.
The man was just trying to buy a bike and having trouble at self-checkout. Why didn't somebody just help him check out? Or maybe he insisted on doing it himself. Why not just let him take the time he needs to figure it out and get it done? It wasn't hurting anyone in the process. It seems to me that most people want to be self-sufficient, independent, take care of themselves. And even more so when a person is told that they have a handicap, whether it be physical or mental, that they end up having even more of a burning desire to prove to themselves that they can do the same things that everybody else can do. Guys, I'm sure you've all seen stories where somebody's been in a bad accident and told they'll never walk again, or they'll never use their arm or their hand again. And it's that statement that someone told them that they can't, that drives them and pushes them to prove to themselves and the world that yes, they can. And it looks to me like that was exactly what was happening here. He already has all of his items scanned, and he's even bagged some of his items. He's on the final step of putting his cash into the machine, and he is figuring it out. But clearly, he's taken longer to figure this out than other customers did. And Target wasn't okay with that. The police state multiple times that the only reason he's being trespassed and needs to be removed from the store is because he took too long to check out.
It just took me a little while.
Gotcha, you take too long. Go ahead and pick your money up.
Now, we know that a person can only be trespassed from property by the property owner or manager. They can be physically removed by the police, but not unless the property owner or manager tells them that they want this person removed. So I called the store to ask if they were the ones who called the cops and asked for a mentally disabled man to be removed from their store because he's too slow. They refused to answer.
Thank you for calling the Coors Target store. Hi, thank you for calling Target on Coors. This is Shannon speaking. How may I help you?
I'm sorry, who's this?
This is Shannon.
Shannon, hi, this is James. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing all right, thanks. Is there a manager in right now?
Were you looking for like a specific area manager or like?
Probably the store manager. I'm trying to figure out why management allowed Albuquerque police to abuse a man inside of their store, and whether it was store employees that called them and asked them to abuse the man, or if the police did it on their own.
Yeah, I had received a call earlier similar to this. Our store director is not in today. And our asset protection team is also, or our asset protection manager is also on vacation right now. I don't know if she'll be in later. Did you want me to take your name and number down and maybe have her call you back?
Sure. Do you know if it was a store employee that called the cops on this guy, though, or if the cops were just there?
Do you remember what day it was?
It was a year ago. it was August.
Oh.
Yeah, it was August of 2022. Do you think that there might be anyone in the store that might know what happened, just so I can make sure I get my details as accurate as possible? Anybody who might have been there on that day a year ago?
Ty might know. Let me put you on a brief hold and see if he's available.
Okay, sure.
So he said that we're unable to give out the information whether or not the store called the police or if a team or if a guest called the police, something like that.
That tells me everything I need to know. Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. You have a beautiful day.
You too. Thanks, bye. So little do these people know, when you call the police, it is public record. I put in the request today. We will find out who called them. We will find out who talked to them. And we will find out who ordered this man to be removed from the store. In the meantime, Natalie Wattis with KRQE in Albuquerque broke the news that the officer who made the arrest is now facing criminal charges for the arrest.
Former APD officer Kenneth Skeens is now facing 4 charges, including false imprisonment and battery, after lapel video shows police pull the victim by his arms out of the store.
You may be asking yourself, James, you do government accountability. Why are you so heavily focused on Target screwing up here? Well, here's how I see it. The police officer is already being held accountable exactly as he should, with criminal charges. But if we're going to prevent these things from even happening, then we need to recognize that it's on you and I also to not call the police when the police don't need to be called. And honestly, even if the police weren't being held accountable in this case, I still believe that whoever called the cops on this man was even worse than the cops themselves. What kind of person calls the police on a mentally disabled man for being slow? In case you're wondering who to boycott because of this, it's Target. And in case you're wondering the specific store where this happened, it's Coors Boulevard in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Since Target decided not to comment on the situation when asked, I decided to make a comment that I think Target would make if they commented. Dear customers, while we believe in the love, tolerance, and acceptance of all people in our society, We can't just have disabled people running around trying to be self-sufficient. God damn.
Hi, sir. After, please. Go ahead and grab all your money. Let's walk out, okay? Go ahead, stop. Stop. Are you done? After you, please. Change it after you leave. Put your money down. Come with us, okay?
Just
put your money down, okay?
I
You're
had
coming with us, okay?
I had it
We're not
in
gonna pay
there
you.
tied up.
Gotcha.
It took me a while.
Take your money out. You're coming with us now, okay?
It just took me a little while.
Gotcha. You took too long. Go ahead and take your money out.
Yeah, I'm
Take your money
sorry.
out. You're coming. Do you want to walk us to walk you out, or you want to walk yourself out?
But I had it.
Go ahead and put your money out, man.
I don't look at I got all the money out. I just was getting
So go
my
ahead and
money
grab your
out.
money, sir. We're walking out, okay?
Can I please just pay
So we're
for
gonna
it?
grab the money for you, okay?
Can I please? I got all the
We're
money.
leaving, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to be identified, okay? And you're going to be issued a criminal trespass that says you can't come back to this business anymore, okay?
I was just getting my money out because I don't want to lose it. I keep it carrying. Yay.
Put it up. Let's walk out, okay? Drop it off. Okay. Walking out, okay?
Fucking piece of shit. Shit makes you sick to your stomach.
Bigger threat to the men in blue. That's him! Kill the bastard with the video camera! Get him!
Hey guys, Rogue Nation here with you. I don't know how many people have seen this video. A subscriber sent it to me. Found it on TikTok. This takes place here in Orlando at a Panera Bread. So I'm going to try to see if I can get more information on this and update you guys as to, you know, what's going on with the case here. But the story we get is that one of the children for this family had, I guess, made some kind of a gesture, and the people at Panera Bread thought he was maybe being abused or something. Now, it's come out from people that know the family that said that these folks don't even spank their kids. But look how the police react to this. Now, you know, it could be a misunderstanding, obviously, or what have you not, but just check out the police reaction here.
Gonna play it? Come on, Ro.
Listen, bro, we just got surrounded by police eating, because they said Ashton made a gesture that he's being beaten. Listen, everybody tap in.
I don't understand.
Join in, bro. Please join in. Please, please, please. My wife having a whole panic attack. Please join in. Check this, bro. If this ain't discrimination at its finest, he's continuing to scream at her.
Then I said I need medical attention, and he never called. He said,
Look at this.
call 911.
Look at this.
And then my son ran, and I couldn't find him. My name is Dominique.
She having a whole panic attack, bro. A whole panic attack.
This is on with impact of comment. Is this Jordan? Hey, I just want to verify what your status is.
They're killing black people out here, and I'm scared.
Look at this, bro. Look at this.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that you're still following that. I know it's kind of weird. All right. Well, I wish you the best, man.
I'm not confined.
Police detention to her.
Why I'm really scared.
Bro, look at this, bro. Bro, look at this. Ashton, sit down, bro.
Okay.
Thank you. Just sit right there.
Bro, I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
good luck with the physical.
No, I don't.
All right, man. If you ever need anything, just give me a shout.
How old is your son?
My son is 7 years old.
You know why he made that comment or gesture?
What comment did he make? Please. Okay, but no. You say he made a gesture.
No.
I think it's in me.
I'm not going to object to that at all.
I don't have an
It's
idea.
always better yourself
No.
than to take responsibility for your family.
No, I can open it for you.
No, you need to place it on the table.
Yep.
Why?
Good luck.
You're lawfully detained at this point.
Why?
I am investigating a potential crime. I need you to take your fanny pack off, step to the side, and stand right here. Place your hands behind your back. That is a lawful command.
Wow.
I am here investigating a crime.
Yo, this is insane, man.
If you fail to follow my lawful commands as the deputy sheriff,
I
you
don't-
will be placed under arrest for resisting. Do you
I'm not
understand?
resisting. I'm just trying to
I'm giving you a
understand.
lawful command at this
Listen.
point. I need you to stand up, take the fanny pack off.
Wow.
I need you to
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Hold on.
We're done playing the game here.
Okay.
You got me.
Yeah, can you put your trust on me, please? Thank you. I'm not fighting. I'm not resisting. Look at myself. Oh, I worked really hard for the government.
What's interesting there at the end was that the child knew enough to pick up the camera and start recording, right? Good job to that kid. Tragic. It defies logic how these people respond.
Yeah, I don't understand it either, especially a little kid like that.
You know, there's ways to go about stuff. You know, we're gonna look into this. It looks like it was Orange County Sheriff's Office deputies that detained them. So we're gonna try to get in touch with Orange County Sheriff's Office because there's no information given with the video. Nobody's name, the date. It doesn't seem to be old, but there's no information given. So we're gonna have to dig and try to see if we can find out. See if we can get the 911 call from Panera Bread and see if we can get any body cam footage, whatnot, and police reports. If they were charged with anything or what actually happened. So stay tuned for that, guys. All right, thanks again for watching.
You got a 10 to 20 minutes, please, with DTE. You're going to transfer.
That's nuts.
Welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. About 3 months ago, I posted a video showing you body cam footage of a police canine being released into a house in which my client was hiding. We filed a lawsuit about 3 months ago. Well, we got our first big ruling on that case and on qualified immunity just in the past few days. Here's a reminder of what the case is about, and then I'll tell you the big news.
Candy, open the door now or we're going to kick it in. Candy, last chance. Open the door. I'm kicking it in. Candy, make yourself known now. Candy, give yourself up. I'm bringing the canine in. You will be bit. Candy, last chance. Canine is in the trailer. I won't release him. You will be bit.
So yeah, this is the case from up in Marshall County, West Virginia, where my client was inside of this house and there was an arrest warrant for her. It was for like a probation violation. So there was no serious crime that they were after her for. It was just sort of a process deal where they were authorized to take her into custody. So she's inside this house. They are authorized to go inside the house forcibly to get her, and they can't find her. Instead of actually taking the time to find her, this dog handler just releases his canine into the house to find Candy Wood. But the problem is we all know, and he knew what would happen once the dog found her, and that is violence, that the dog would violently attack her. And I'll go ahead and put the little click thingy up there so you can watch the other video, because I really don't think YouTube would monetize that footage again. In fact, I'm surprised they did in the first place. But what you're not seeing here that you can watch in the other video, and I encourage you to do so, is this dog finding this woman under a pile of clothes and just latching onto her and ripping the flesh literally off her arm, violently attacking her. The police officer can't get the dog off of her, and she's just screaming. It's really terrible footage. So here's the issue. They say it's fine if we just say twice, all right, we're releasing the dog, and then whatever happens, happens. And we say, no, you can only use violence, serious violence, like a weaponized pet, if there is a serious immediate safety threat to somebody, just like using a taser or other forms of physical violence that your government may use on you. Here's the big news that happened. And that's that we have already beaten them on their first claim of qualified immunity. That's right. The sheriff's department and this police officer claimed qualified immunity in a motion to dismiss that they filed. So we prepared a response. And I also had a law student from Liberty University, Jacob Lewis, working with me, and he did a lot of the work on this response. And I'm going to introduce you to him just here in a second. But we won. We won on the qualified immunity defense. All counts are proceeding forward at this point. So we're now in the discovery phase. So here is Jacob. Let me introduce him to you. Hopefully he's going to work on a lot more cases that you see on my channel. All right, this is Jacob Lewis. He's a law student who's working with us right now. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I'm a rising 2L at Liberty Law.
You helped write the response to the motions to dismiss in the Wood case, which we just won on. Congratulations on your first victory against qualified immunity. How do you feel?
It feels good. It was kind of a nice little surprise after a bit of a vacation to come back and see all the motion to dismiss response that we won on it. It feels good to actually be doing something with some of the material that I've learned so far while pursuing my degree. And it also feels good to just get my hands on some real law.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to actually win in a fight against your government and have the federal judiciary say that you have now protected somebody's constitutional rights.
Exactly. No, and I definitely
even for drug detection, because they're
Wood's case.
They're like teaching them to
about her and learn more about
falsely
surrounding
alert
what happened to her.
Watching the body cam footage
they
from
only
the Wood
find
case,
something about
what
30% of
most
the time
struck you
on
about
positive
that footage?
The most important part of that footage
me,
is
that's-
not really what happens with the
means
dog.
it-
It's what
it doesn't
happens
work.
leading up to it. All of the time that he spends going.
I don't care if you want to use them in airports and stuff like that,
and
but to search
there's
people's
even-
vehicles on the side of the road.
From my perspective, there's even a brief pause where he gets to that room where she is, and he's looking at the pile of clothes where she's hiding, and it's almost like he makes a decision right then and there that it'll be more expedient for him to send the dog in to do his job than it would be for him to have to go in and find her.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. Looking forward to working on the next one. And I forgot to mention that we also won on their motion to dismiss
use
our
them for
count for a
tracking and stuff
Monell
like
claim.
that.
And as Chris
They
Weiss
should not
just
be used on the
discussed
side of the
a
road
couple
for drug
videos
detection.
ago, those are very difficult claims. And that's when you sue the actual municipality or the county, basically the employer, i.e. the sheriff's department, and claim that there is this pattern or practice or policy of civil rights violations. And they're very, very difficult cases. But here, I thought that there was one, because it seems that they had a policy where they are saying, all right, we're releasing this dog. As long as we warn you twice, then we can release the dog on you. And that just doesn't jive with federal constitutional law that says that police officers cannot use violent physical force just to make it easier to find somebody who is hiding in a house without some sort of substantial safety threat. So they disagreed with this, and they filed a motion to dismiss on those grounds with the federal court. So this is great news that this federal court has agreed with us that we have stated a plausible claim here, that police officers are violating the Fourth Amendment when they release a dog into a house with a nonviolent person who's just hiding under some clothes inside. And where they do that as a policy, then you can sue that municipality. So great news moving forward on all claims. So let's just restate the law here so that we're all on the same page, police officers and potential suspects being pursued by dogs in the future. So where a canine is deployed on a citizen, remember that individual is seized. Therefore, the Fourth Amendment is triggered. So if that's a lawful seizure, the issue is whether or not the seizure is reasonable or whether or not it's unreasonable. And that depends on the level of force used. Releasing a German Shepherd on somebody, that automatically is like kicking the force up to, I don't know, 7 or 8, something like that. So the law can vary between federal circuit on when that's reasonable.
Blow a gun above the taser.
And when that's not reasonable. And there unfortunately are not a whole lot of dog cases out there to compare. And the problem with that, claim qualified immunity, they almost always get qualified immunity where you can't show a near identical fact scenario. So there are a lot of dog cases out there, but not a huge number of them. But here's my opinion on what the status of the law is. Where canines are deployed by police, a warning should be given along with an opportunity to surrender if possible. But deploying canines on suspects who have already been subdued, surrounded, or who are not actively resisting or evading arrest is almost surely going to be considered excessive force, with or without a warning being given. So deploying canines on suspects who pose no immediate threat at all is generally going to be unreasonable and therefore unconstitutional. Remember, canines should only be deployed where there exists some serious immediate safety threat in a tense, fast-moving situation where there's some actual reason to use your dog, where there's some actual reason to do so. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like to follow along on these types of cases and you like to learn your constitutional rights. Check me out on Twitter at John Bryan ESQ, also on Facebook at John H. Bryan Attorney at Law. And also, if you want to contribute to the fight to end qualified immunity, please donate to the Institute for Justice using my custom donation link that you'll find in the description for this video. Remember, because I have a custom link, this is being tracked, and they keep track of how much money my audience is donating to this fight for justice. You are literally keeping civil rights lawyers employed. Suing the government, it's a good thing. Because, remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it. I'll see you next time.
Well, welcome to today's talk, Friday the 14th of July. Now, I make no apology at all today for returning to the topic of excess deaths. The last week that we have data for, in the United Kingdom, deaths were 8.8% higher than we would expect for the time of year. This is just an ongoing issue in the United Kingdom and indeed around the world. And today I want to be looking at some European data and seeing what we can learn from this. This is still greeted by a deafening silence from government, from health authorities, and pretty well universally from mainstream media. But we're going to keep on with it because there are some ideas. I've got another video coming out probably later today or tomorrow where we talk about some research from Denmark as well, which might help. But let's just look at briefly what's going on at the moment. Week ending the 30th of July, this week 26, 2023. 10,373 deaths were registered in England and Wales. Now, interestingly, they're saying 129 of these mentioned coronavirus. So this number was way down. And of course, not all of these were from coronavirus. Well, we could argue about the proportion, but it's 1.2% of all deaths. The official data is saying that of the 129 deaths involving COVID-19, 61.2, 79 deaths had this recorded as the underlying cause. Not always sure about that. I think very often it's so wrapped up with comorbidities and old age, it's really quite difficult, pretty well impossible to tell. It's a rather subjective medical opinion. But what we can say for sure is that the COVID deaths are way, way down. Probably well under 1.2% of all deaths at the moment. Number of deaths was above the 5-year average. Private homes, 22.9%. So we see a lot of people are dying at home. Now, you could argue that this is good. It's always better to die at home than die in hospital, but it's still higher than we would expect. Hospitals, it's 6.1. Care homes, it's 3.7. Number of deaths registered in the UK as a whole, not just England and Wales, 11,763. 8.8% above the 5-year average. This is persisting. Now, let's look at the useful graphic published by the Office for National Statistics that we've looked at for some time now. This is the latest updated version. The black line, of course, is the deaths we would expect. And for example, we see that throughout 2022, which we'll be looking at again in a minute, the deaths were higher than we would have expected. During the pandemic waves, of course, the blue COVID deaths there, less surprising. The deaths carrying on now in excess levels. These are the most recent figures that we have. And we see that they are consistently high. So this represents here, this line here represents 8.8%. So we can see it was a little higher the week before and a little higher the week before. Now, I'm going to go on and look at some graphics from European data in a minute. But I just want to give you some figures from the European data first of all. Now, this is the data. It's from Eurostat. It's well collected data. The European Union area are good at collecting data. They're all fairly advanced countries with pretty established data collecting methodologies. So pretty happy with this quality of data. Excess mortality in the European Union between January 2020 and May 2023. Now, it followed the COVID waves in 2020 and 2021. Although, as we'll see, not really. There was no excess deaths in Finland, Norway, and Denmark in 2020. So the Scandinavian countries were a bit different. More on why that might be later. Anyway, the following data is based on the 2016 to 2019 that we would expect in the pre-pandemic years. So compared to 2016 to 2019, EU data for as a whole, January 2022 it was up by 8.1, February 8.3, March it was up by 6.7, April it was up by 12%.
We're back.
May it was up by 8, June it was up by 8.4, July it was up by 17.4. Now, these are high increases. 2022 was when Omicron was around, way less pathogenic, caused much less severe disease. We can't attribute we contribute some of these deaths to COVID, obviously, but the majority not. These are non-directly COVID-related deaths. They're due to other factor or factors, and obviously I think it's going to be factors, several factors. Now, 558,000 additional deaths in the European Union in July. So this July figure here, this 17.1% represents 58,000 deaths. This is absolutely astronomical levels of excess deaths ongoing. But particularly so in 2022 when we wouldn't have expected it. 2.8% in July 2020. So in July 2020, in the pandemic year, July 2020, before any vaccination, of course, it was 2.8%. So when the vaccination program had been rolled out, when Omicron was there, when there'd been lots of herd immunity, the excess death was 17.1%. In July 2020, at the height of the pandemic, it was 2.8%. So we see that there are other factors here going on. This is not just no one's saying that COVID's not a dangerous disease. Of course it is. But it's not accounting for most of these excess deaths. It was 5.7% higher in July 2021. That represents 19,700 deaths. So higher in 2021. Lower in.
I'm going to end the
lower in
stream,
20.
I'll steer people back over here for now. If you're on DocNation, I am live on inDOCtriNATION live. So
20, but much higher in 2022.
Peace.
August 2022.